At my celebratory supper, my sister crumpled from her ongoing discomfort just as I shared my career advancement. So I showed a recording I'd made 20 minutes prior, anticipating her precise response. Before we dive in, please give a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment below. What's one vital lesson you believe everyone should grasp before it's too late? Share your insights, thank you. Let's rewind to the start. My younger sister, Leela, arrived 2 months early, pale as a winter sky, and spent her first 3 years tethered to monitors and tubes at a pediatric hospital in Pittsburgh. Naturally, my parents were fiercely protective of her. They'd stay by her side, get her every toy she wanted, and insist I skip time with friends to watch over her. Initially, I thought this was fair. She was my frail little sister, after all. But as Leela grew older, she got stronger. She no longer needed breathing machines or feeding tubes and could live like any other kid. Yet by then, she'd learned that acting sick got her anything she desired, be it toys or sympathy. It began with her migraines conveniently flaring up whenever math assignments were due. Our parents would swoop in, swapping textbooks for ice cream and streaming privileges. By the time Leela was 11 and I was 16, she'd mastered her performance, and it frustrated me because her ailments always hit during my proudest moments. When I earned a spot on the varsity basketball team at Roosevelt High, she developed sudden stomach pains, forcing my parents to leave my first game early. When I got into Ohio State, she collapsed at my celebratory meal at a local Italian restaurant, leading to a night in the ER at Mercy Hospital, where tests showed nothing wrong. The worst was her sly grin when our parents weren't looking. She even rehearsed her pained expressions in the bathroom mirror. I tried to show my parents once, but Leela had already convinced them I was envious of the care she required. My boyfriend, Ethan, lasted 9 months before Leela got to him. She fabricated text message screenshots where I allegedly called her a fraud and wished she'd vanish. The breakup happened at a cafe on Main Street. Ethan slid his phone across the table, showing me the proof Leela had crafted. He said he couldn't stay with someone who treated their ill sister so harshly. Leela sent me a photo wearing the Steelers cap Ethan gave me for my birthday. That was my limit 4 years. I'd watched her take everything that mattered to me, so I began observing her closely, more than anyone ever had. I noticed a pattern. Every time Leela claimed pain, she always clutched her left side, head, stomach, or back, always the left. She always called for mom first, never dad. She rated her pain between 8 and 10 on the medical scale, and she always recovered in exactly 2 to 3 hours, just long enough to derail my plans. Once I saw this pattern, I devised a strategy last weekend. At our monthly family gathering, it unfolded perfectly. We were at Grandma Rose's house in Shadyside. About 20 relatives packed around her huge walnut dining table, a family heirloom. 20 minutes before the meal, I slipped upstairs to the bathroom and recorded a video on my phone. In it, I explained I'd soon announce a fake promotion at my job at a downtown ad agency. I predicted Leela's reaction. She'd wait for the cheers to fade, then clutch her left side and call for mom. She'd rate her pain an 8, 9, or 10, need to rest immediately, and ask mom to take her to the hospital if the pain lingered for 20 minutes. At dinner, I stood and tapped my glass with a spoon, drawing everyone's attention. The chatter quieted as all eyes turned to me. I announced I'd been promoted to lead marketing coordinator with a big raise at Thompson, and the room burst into cheers and praise. Uncle Frank slapped my shoulder. Cousins Emily and Tara hugged me, and Mom's eyes shone with pride. The applause filled Grandma's dining room, mixed with congratulations and quips about me finally moving out of my tiny apartment. Uncle Frank joked I'd be the wealthy cousin now, while Grandma mused aloud about me covering her medication costs. I kept smiling, thanking everyone, but my focus was locked on Leela. She sat at the table's far end between Cousin Ryan and Aunt Linda, idly stirring her peas. For a fleeting moment, she seemed almost happy for me. Almost, but I knew her too well. I caught the subtle shift in her face. Her eyes narrowed slightly, her posture stiffened. She scanned the table, seeing everyone focused on me, basking in my moment. Then it started. Leela stopped eating. Her fork clinked softly onto her plate, noticed only by those nearby. Aunt Linda asked if she was okay, but Leela gave a weak smile, the kind she used to seem brave through pain. I kept chatting with Uncle Frank about my fake promotion, inventing details about duties and pay. But I was counting down in my head, 3, 2, 1. Right on cue, Leela's hand went to her left side. Her first groan was soft, blending with the table's hum, but she knew how to make it seem like she was hiding it while wanting everyone to notice. Cousin Ryan, mid-story about his new job at the community center, paused and asked, "Leela, you okay?" "It's nothing," she whispered, loud enough for half the table to hear, her voice laced with that perfect mix of courage and fragility. "Just a little pain," she added, and so her performance began, one I'd seen countless times. Aunt Linda turned fully to Leela, abandoning her chat with Grandpa Sam about the Penguins' season. "What's wrong, honey? Where does it hurt?" Leela curled slightly in her chair, her act precise, not too dramatic, just enough to show distress. "It's here on the left side," she said, pressing her hand to her abdomen. "It just hit me." I watched the room shift. Conversations quieted. Eyes turned to Leela. My promotion faded into the background, replaced by the family's instinctive worry for her. Mom, who'd been laughing at Uncle Mike's tale of a botched camping trip, froze mid-smile. That familiar look of maternal alarm took over, one Leela could summon with precision. "Leela, what's wrong?" Mom was already half standing, her napkin dropping to the floor. Leela looked at Mom first, always Mom, never Dad. I'd noticed this years ago. "Mom, it hurts a lot," she murmured, her voice trembling just enough to seem real. Dad, as usual, went into fix-it mode. "What kind of pain? Stabbing? Throbbing?" "It's a heavy ache," Leela replied, closing her eyes as if focusing, "but really bad, and it's getting worse." Grandma Rose clasped her hands. Uncle Frank's brow furrowed. Cousin Tara asked if anyone had painkillers. The room's focus had fully shifted to Leela, like leaves caught in a windstorm. I kept smiling, joining the guesses about her pain's cause, but inside I was captivated, watching her orchestrate it all. Every sigh, every wince, every word was chosen to pull the exact response she wanted. "On a scale of 1 to 10? Dad asked, grabbing the car keys from a nearby shelf. It was a family ritual by now. Leela paused as if assessing another clever touch. Too quick an answer might seem rehearsed. "It's an 8, she said, voice fading. "Maybe a 9. Of course, never below 8, never a 10, too obvious. Always 8 or 9, urgent but believable. The family rallied around her. Aunt Linda shared a story about her gallstones. Grandma whispered about Leela's lifelong struggles. Ryan suggested it might be her appendix. My promotion was forgotten in minutes. Leela curled further, her other hand joining the first. "Mom, I think I need to lie down," she said, loud enough for all to hear. Then came the moment that always infuriated me. She glanced at me just for a second when no one else saw and smirked. A tiny, triumphant smirk like she'd won a prize. "Maybe we should go to Allegheny General," Mom said, standing fully. "Linda, can you drive?" "I'm too shaken." That's when something broke in me, not anger, but something sharper, more deliberate. Everyone rose, ready to turn my night into another hospital dash. I stood too, but instead of my bag, I grabbed my phone. "Hold on," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "Before we rush off, you all need to see something." Leela looked at me, and for the first time I saw a flicker of doubt in her eyes, maybe fear. But she was too deep in her act to back out. "Emma, this isn't the time," she said, voice still frail. "I'm in real pain." "I know exactly how much pain you're in," I said, unlocking my phone, "and when it'll stop." Aunt Linda frowned. "Emma, what's that supposed to mean?" I held up my phone, finger over the play button. "I recorded something 20 minutes ago. You'll all want to see it." Leela froze, her hand still on her left side, her pained expression intact, but something shifted. "What recording?" Mom asked, torn between worry for Leela and curiosity. I locked eyes with Leela, seeing the moment she sensed trouble. Her eyes widened, but she couldn't drop the act now, not with everyone watching. "A recording that explains everything," I said, and hit play. My voice rang out from the phone. "It's 6:40 p.m. on Sunday. In 20 minutes, I'll announce a fake promotion at dinner. When I do, Leela will wait for the cheers to stop, grab her left side, and call for Mom. She'll say the pain's an 8 or 9, ask to lie down, and suggest the hospital in 15 minutes. The room went silent, the only sound Grandma's old clock ticking. All eyes turned to Leela, still clutching her side. "She always holds the left side," my recorded voice went on. "Head, stomach, back, always left. Always calls Mom first. Always recovers in 2 to 3 hours, just enough to wreck my moment." Grandma Rose spoke first. "Leela, is this true?" Leela's panic showed in her eyes. "I don't know what Emma's talking about," she stammered, clinging to her pained tone. "I'm really hurting, don't you believe me?" "Not done," I said, pausing the video. That was just the start. I opened another folder on my phone, a collection I'd built over months. "Want to see what happened at my high school graduation?" "Emma, stop," Leela whispered, her voice now sharp, not fragile. I played the next clip, security footage from Roosevelt High, obtained through my friend Nate in the IT department. The blurry image showed Leela alone by the lockers before the ceremony, checking her phone, then practicing pained expressions in a window's reflection. "My God," Aunt Linda gasped, hand over her mouth. "There's more," I said. "Remember when Ethan dumped me saying I was cruel to my sick sister?" Leela paled. "Emma, don't." I showed screenshots I'd recovered from her cloud backup thanks to Nate. "These are the messages she sent Ethan pretending to be me. Look at the timestamps. She used my computer when I was out, creating fake profiles with my photo, writing vicious things about Leela I'd never say." Dad took my phone, his face darkening as he read. "She checked my schedule to know when I'd be gone," I added. "She sent those messages to Ethan, then acted shocked, saying someone must have used my laptop." "Leela," Mom whispered, voice breaking. "This can't be true." "It is," I said, feeling a grim satisfaction as Leela's lies unraveled. "And there's more." I played an audio I'd recorded last month with a voice app. Leela's voice filled the room. "It's so easy, Sarah. Say it's a headache on the left side and Mom freaks out. Stomach pain takes longer. It works best when Emma's shining. Everyone pities me and thinks she's cold." Sarah laughed in the recording. "You're awful, Leela. But Emma's kind of arrogant, right?" Leela went on. "She was always the golden child, got everything. Faking sick gets me noticed and it's fun watching her squirm." The silence was heavy. Leela trembled, her fear real now. "Leela," Grandma Rose said, her voice thick with betrayal. "How could you—" "There's more," I pressed. "Want to see her faint at my 18th birthday?" Leela tried to stand, maybe to flee, but Uncle Frank held her shoulders gently but firmly. "Stay, Leela, you need to hear this." The video showed Leela in our backyard, behind the picnic table, practicing feints before her dramatic entrance, testing angles for maximum effect. Cousin Ryan let out a stunned laugh. "Leela, this is twisted." "Not twisted," I said, pocketing my phone. "Calculated, deliberate, she made manipulation her craft." Leela snapped. "Fine, I faked it okay. Sometimes I faked it." Tears fell, but they were angry now, not staged. "You think it's easy being perfect Emma's sister. Emma the brilliant, Emma the popular, Emma who's never wrong. Do you know what it's like living in her shadow? So you sabotaged me." I shot back, voice icy. "Ruined my relationships, stole my moments, made everyone think I'm heartless. Because you had it all," Leela yelled, her sick act gone. "I was just the sister who nearly died as a baby. Being sick was the only way anyone cared." "You weren't sick," Dad said, voice heavy with disappointment. "You lied for years, hurting your sister in the process. And took money," Mom added, tears falling. "Leela, how could you be so cruel?" "Cruel," Leela's laugh was bitter. "Cruel is watching your sister get praised for existing while you have to nearly die to be seen." "You weren't dying," I snapped. "Not for years. You lied because it worked." The room went quiet. Family members stepped back from Leela. Uncle Frank shook his head. Aunt Linda clutched her bag. Even Grandma Rose, Leela's biggest defender, stared at her like a stranger. 15 years, Mom whispered. 15 years of worry, canceled plans, sleepless nights. "And I lost 15 years too," I said. "Treated as the cruel sister, my moments ruined, blamed for not being patient enough." Leela looked up, tears streaking her face. "Emma, I'm sorry. Sorry now that you're caught," I said. I faced the family, seeing shock and betrayal in their eyes. "Now you know who she really is, what she did to me, to us, for years." I grabbed my bag and headed for the door. Leela's real sobs, not fake, followed me. "Where are you going?" Mom asked, crying. "Away," I said. "Away from this toxic cycle, away from her." I pointed at Leela without looking. "I'm going where I should have gone years ago. To a life where people like her can't touch me." The door closed behind me, Leela's genuine cries of anguish echoing. For the first time, her pain didn't guilt me. It freed me. Sometimes truth cuts deeper than any lie. But sometimes that cut is what's needed to heal.